So the Sefer HaChinuch tells us that the first night of Pesach, the Seder night, is devoted to one story, one theme. The story of Yetziat Mitzrayim. So you don't mix two stories. You don't mix the idea, he tells us. You want to fully express the appreciation that HaKadosh Baruch Hu redeemed us from Mitzrayim. You don't want to get that confused with anything else. And therefore, we maintain that night nothing else should be done except the telling of the story and expressing our undying gratefulness, our undying appreciation to God. And that is what we are required to do halachically. We're required to say thank you. So, Rav Soloveitchik, he elaborated on the Sefer HaChinuch's comment, and he says that gratefulness and appreciation are required halachically to say thank you, basically a birchas hagomel. So we do it for the redemptive or the salvation purpose. So every single time we're emancipated on a certain level, we end up saying this glorious thank you. Birchas hagomel is brought down, it's mentioned in the Gemara and Masechet Brachot, for 4 things. So just bear with me. I'm going to express how the halachot of Birchas HaGomel translate and help to bolster why we act the way we do on the first night of Pesach, and also why we act and do what we do on the second night of Pesach. And there's going to be an intriguing and fascinating connection between the two. So in Masechet Brachot, it brings down 4 reasons why somebody says Birchas HaGomel. One is for surviving an illness. Another one is for traversing a desert. It's a big danger. Another one is for surviving and crossing the high seas. And another one is for coming out of captivity. You were locked in a prison, a jail, a dungeon, and you've been released. So the Rav analyzed this carefully. So let's look. There's a refuah that sometimes comes. Let's analyze the first category of sickness. There's a refuah that sometimes comes that, somebody was terribly ill and they've come out of their illness. So what do? They recite Birchas HaGomel. But sometimes the healing doesn't just come. It's not a surgery and then boom, it's done, it's over. The wound is gone, the blemish is gone, the cancer is gone, whatever it is. Sometimes healing comes in stages. And when it comes in stages, what's the halacha? When do I make Birchas HaGomel? If the doctor tells you there's 3 stages to the course of resolution of this disease, do I do it after stage 1? Do I do it after stage 2? Do I do it after stage 3? Do I have to wait until there's a complete redemption, a complete salvation, a complete healing from my illness? Or is every single stage, is each stage worthy of this Birchas HaGomel, this unbelievable praise, this thanks to HaKadosh Baruch Hu for getting you through? So, Birchas HaGomel could be said now, after stage 1, let's say, or it could be said after stage 3, when it's all done. So the Rav points out this unbelievably clear Mishnah. The way that he draws a connection between so many things is fascinating. But he talks about if somebody's going on a journey, and they have to traverse whatever it would be, a far, crazy, treacherous path. Maybe it's a desert. Maybe it's just a path with robbers. Whatever it would be. He traverses and he goes from point A, city A, to city B. And mind you, this is a round trip. He's got to get back home. He's got to go back to city A. So what does he do when he arrives at city B? Does he say Birchas HaGomel? Or does he just wait until he gets back to city A, where he came from, and that's when he says Birchas HaGomel? So the halacha is, on this round trip journey, he says Birchas HaGomel before even the journey's over. Only even once he got to city B, his first stop, he says Birchas HaGomel. It was a treacherous path. It was a hard, arduous journey. There were many obstacles. But even at this first stage, he says Birchas HaGomel. So in the course of the disease, the patient's going from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3. Birchas HaGomel is recited at each stage, according to Rav Soloveitchik. I just like to point out that Rosh Shlomo Zalman Auerbach did not hold that way. He held that you would say Birchas HaGomel only once there was a complete resolution of the entire course of the disease. But the Rav felt that wasn't the case. And he learns it from that Mishnah that when you're traveling and you made it through, that each stage of that treacherous path, that journey, you would do it. In the same way, people who are going through a serious illness, they're going through one heck of a journey, unbelievable journey. And therefore, they would also make a Birchas HaGomel at each stage of the resolution of the course of this disease. But not to get too sidetracked, because remember, we were trying to talk about Sfiras Omer and Yetziat Mitzrayim. So how's this going to play out? So going back to our Sefer HaChinuch, why do we count Sfira on the first night? So he said it would be an insult to the focus and the attention and the care that we give towards praising Hashem and offering our unbelievable thanks on the first night of Pesach. He says that we shouldn't mix these messages on the first night of Pesach. The first night is about Sipur Yetzias Mitzrayim, and nothing else should that night should be about. It shouldn't be about anything else. So what's the message of Sfiras HaOmer? Sfiras HaOmer tells us we've got a goal. We've got a goal. 49 days from now. 49 days from this counting, there's a goal. Shavuos. That's the goal. So if you say Sfiras HaOmer on the first night, what you're doing is you're mixing in. There's supposed to be a hoda'ah of Sipor Yetzias Mitzrayim, and you're mixing it in with this other goal, with this other aspect of the journey. And so basically you're saying, if you were to start the counting on the first night, you're saying, thanks God, but it's not complete. This isn't where I'm supposed to be. I'm not supposed to just be free from Egypt. I got to go get the Torah, right? So it's kind of, I don't know if the word is bizayon, but it's kind of putting down that unbelievable stage that we all went through of Yetzias Mitzrayim. And we want to honor it for everything it is. So even though it's only stage 1 in the course of maybe 49 stages or 50 stages, it's a very important stage. So we want to make no mistake about this being a time of thanking Hashem completely for this stage, completely for this event. We just came through an amazing release from bondage, and there should be nothing else clouding it. Matan Torah is amazing. Matan Torah is great. We're going to get there. But right now, we want to fully be dedicated to this event. So to tie into this, there's a wonderful Hasidic minhag that brings out this point so clearly, so nicely. So on the second night of Pesach, in Chutz La'aretz, even though the counting of the Omer does start on the second night, and we do a Seder, there's Hasidim that have a minhag of not doing the count in shul. Like in my shul, they did a count. They made the count in shul before walking home for this Seder. But the Hasidim would not count until the end of the Seder. And it has to do exactly with this point, because the second night of Seder is additionally giving complete thanks to Hashem. And they don't want to have anything get in the way of that. The Yom Tov started, candle lighting started, we daven Mariv. It doesn't matter. The second night is still fully dedicated on this redemption from the house of bondage, from Yetzia. We had Yetzias Mitzrayim, all of that. And there should be nothing else. That's just this ability to be utterly focused, utterly clear, that everything should be done with care and with love and not mixed in with a bunch of different things. It's such an important concept. And it's beautiful that we see this Hasidic minhag where we're giving thanks to Hashem fully for that. And once the Seder is totally done, then we do the count of the first night of Sfiras HaOmer. So the Hasidim wouldn't make the count on that night in Shul. They would wait until they got home, until they did the whole Seder, and then they would basically be saying that each stage of the Yeshua is deserving of its full recognition. So again, to summarize, when the doctor says you've gone through stage 1, say thank you. Say thank you. And don't say, well, I'm not at stage 3 yet, Just say thank you. Appreciate where you've come. Appreciate how far you've come. And so it's in this vein that we should express and really take in so much of what we have in our lives. Just appreciating every single stage. I'll leave you with this, that the Rav wondered what's the deal with those, which are most of us, who say Sfiras HaOmer at the first possible time. I just told you about the Hasidim that do it after the second night of Seder. But what about us who are doing it in Shul? We're doing it in the synagogue before we get home for Seder on the second night. Are we somehow disgracing that appreciation? Are we somehow sidestepping, that Thanksgiving, or making somewhat of a bizayon to it, or not fully appreciating it? So the Rav used a very simple halachic measure that we've brought up before in these halacha videos, and that is that it's more than just timimus that's going on here when it comes to Sfiras HaOmer. That we're evoking a concept of tadir she'eno tadir kodem. So what's the deal? Sfiras HaOmer is 49 days. It's 49 days of counting. How often does the Pesach Seder come? Once a year, twice a year. So when we have this conflict, when we have two things that come into play like that, we've got the Seder that we're supposed to do, and we've got Sfiras HaOmer we're supposed to do. So Sfiras HaOmer comes more often, so we're going to say that first. So according to halachic principles, those halachic guidelines, those rules, the thing that comes more often is supposed to be done first. So on the second night, we try, before we get to the Seder, we try to do Sfiras HaOmer, and then we go and do the Seder. But that should all be done, that we're not having these two competing needs, that really we should still approach our Seder, we should still approach each count of the day of the Omer, we should still approach every single stage of resolution of any disease, every stage of a journey with unbelievable thanks, thank with each bracha that we make, appreciate the Yeshua that comes into our lives, and with that, may we be full-bodied, unbelievably close people who are just with their entire being appreciating life, appreciating being alive, appreciating those that are around us. And may this beaming light come from all of you, come from all of us, a sense of appreciation and love. Have a great day.